Right. Uh, my name's Chris Selby, and it's Sunday, the 18th of October,
That's
2020.
right, yeah.
And I'm talking to Donald George Powell about
That's
1981.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, that, Chris.
It was a good year for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the start of quite a bit of success. That was,
Yeah.
That particular year, because we had January '81. We had "We'll Bring the House Down," which went to number 10, which is great. That was that a single? Was it?
Yeah.
You must have. Oh, okay.
We got visual aids tonight, don't? That's the actual Cheapskate.
What's that one, Chris?
Cheapskate, which was one of Chaz's labels, wasn't it?
No, it was actually Jim and Frank Lee's label.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
my
knowledge out the way.
Chaz went into the company with them.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's right. But it was basically formed by Jim and Frank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that did pretty well. That was off the back of Reading and everything, wasn't it?
Sorry?
That was off the back of Reading and everything.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. I mean,
it was
we got
building up.
The House Down, went to number 10. Got number 10 of the charts.
Yeah.
And we actually, I've just got the dates here. There's some of the bonfire. And we did quite a few UK dates. And we got House with Odeon we played as well.
Yeah.
Which was good.
Which is a bit of a change from January of 1980, wasn't it? Pre-Reading.
Yeah. Well, we were playing mainly universities then, I think, or smaller places anyway.
Smaller bits,
and I got the question here. It says, which were the standout gigs for you from those 2 years? But I mean, to be quite honest, Chris, I prefer the universities. I prefer smaller places.
Yeah. Right.
Because I think you got more of a closer contact with the audience.
Yeah.
And I prefer that a lot. I mean, it's a bit of a buzz playing the big gigs, but to me, it's not quite the same.
I suppose it's money and things, isn't it? You're getting your name out there, playing the Odeons and the bigger places. You've got more people coming in, and it's all that sort of thing.
It was that, but it's always been a thing for me since we started to get successful. So I much prefer the smaller places.
Yeah,
that's just a personal thing.
Yeah, in these later ones, I used to go into Birmingham Odeon in the 81s, and they were all right, but it was still a cinema.
Yeah,
they'd still got the seats, and you walked in, and the staff was still cinema staff and all that.
They've still got uniforms on.
Yeah. I used to like the civic gigs. I mean, the first I remember going off topic, but I saw you at Civic with Alex Harvey, and that was just mayhem. 73, that was absolute mayhem, and I love those in the smaller places. But anyway, next one. In February the same year, there was another Dummies single. This isn't on your thingy. Were you involved with that at all?
Which one was that?
Tonight.
No.
Okay.
I wasn't involved with that, Chris.
Right. Next one then is the album, the "We'll Bring the House Down" album.
Yeah, I mean, wow.
Visual aid.
That's it. Yeah, number 25 according to this info, Chris.
Yeah. This was like a greatest hits that weren't hits, wasn't it? It was to introduce the people who'd missed out on for the last couple of years all your releases.
That was it. There's a few things like that, but it's amazing when it got to number 25
because it was all on the back of Reading again, wasn't it?
I think it was. I mean, everything. It's amazing how many doors that opened.
Yeah.
Reading and Castle Donington afterwards.
Yeah. And you got with the album, you got official merchandise.
Oh.
T-shirts, patches.
Wow.
And posters. Did you make much money out of the merchandise?
Not around then, I don't think. But we did all right later on.
Yeah.
When we were doing the two, did all right then when we had like a proper merchandising company doing it. And then we did quite all right out of that.
It just always intrigued me, sort of how much money you sort of made. I mean, you probably, the gigs and everything made a loss, but then you make the money on flogging the T-shirts and the badges and things like that.
Well, yeah, we made some. We didn't make like a ridiculous amount of money, but it was nice money in your back pocket. I will say that.
That's it. That's all you need.
Yeah, that was great, you know.
Brilliant.
And, no, we did all right. And it was quite good actually, because when I was living in London then, Chris, a lot of the time, because staying out, or if you had a few days off, I used to travel back to London with a merchandising guy. I'd have a lift with him back to London. He just dropped me off because where we came off the motorway, the M1, and going towards towards like near West Hampstead, he could drop me off and I could walk just a couple of the jars to where I lived. It worked perfect, that did.
Brilliant.
And then whenever we started gigging again, a few days later, I'd just get a train to wherever, or meet the merchandising guy again. You know, because
ideal.
Way back up to wherever.
Yeah.
So we got a fast where he dropped me off a few nights before. So
yeah.
I used to be stand by the traffic lights and wait for him to pull up. You know, so it was good.
You were lucky he was the only bloke who picked you up standing by the traffic lights.
Yeah, yes. Well, no, I didn't get any sort of propositions, but yeah, but no, it worked pretty good. It was quite a good time, that was, Chris.
Good. Right.
Yeah.
The next thing you had was the single, wasn't it? Wheels Ain't Coming Down.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Slade again.
That didn't do as that didn't do as good as what we thought, actually.
No,
Chris.
see, was it 60, something like that?
Good to this, we got to number 60.
Yeah.
You know, but I think, you know, I don't think that was really a single. I think, to be quite honest, I'm not quite sure whether we had anything else.
It was a good story song. I like stories. I've said this before about whoever wrote. I think would that be Nod's lyrics for that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah. I like story songs.
Like I said, that Nod and Jim were going to do radio. It was in the States.
Yeah.
And then me and Dave were going somewhere else, and we just meet them wherever after, you know. And that's when they had the problems with the wheels not coming. They couldn't get the wheels down. Yeah. I mean, quite amazing, really, when you think what it was. The pilot said, "Well, I'm running short of fuel. I've got to go for it. You know, we just got to get you know, that's to take the crash positions and all the fire engines and whatever. Apparently, were racing along the wrong way along the side of them. But I mean, just like amazing bit of luck, the wheels opened just before they hit the ground.
It's like an episode of the Twilight Zone thing, isn't it? One of those 30-minute things.
Yeah.
The opening lyrics, what it was a 1950s prop job that's seen much better days.
Yeah.
You know where you are then.
Yes, if that's what it was like. I remember before in the well, it must have been 73, 74, we're having all the success, and we were asked to do like a 10-day tour of Europe, just doing TVs.
Yeah.
And it worked out better. Like we've worked out better. We're on Polydor at the time, Chris, and it worked out better. All the Polydor companies put together, and we had our own plane for those 10 days. You know, like so we can meet schedules. You know, because I mean, we go to Brussels for a TV, and then straight afterwards, straight to the airport on the plane to wherever for the next one. Sort of like. Be Germany or whatever, but it means we hadn't got to rely on scheduled airlines, and so it was great. I mean, sort of when we got to the airport, we had a different place to go to with private planes, and then the pilot had already booked his slot, and then we could just go. And it was great. That was, and it meant we did so many TVs in about 10 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we had like basically had an open thing, like we didn't have to. It wasn't a schedule situation, so it was really good. I mean, when we wherever we went, when we got off the plane, the pilot sort of said, you know, it was all worked out. Well, I'm going to have to book a flight, book a slot you know, so I can take off at a certain time. So just make sure you're back here for then, you know, which was always okay. We had it was so worked out. We had a great schedule worked out. So he knew exactly when we were due back. He could book his slot with air traffic control, and then we just straight back on, straight on the plane and gone again. I mean, it's quite good now, except when we were coming out, we were flying, I think it was from Brussels, Brussels back to Birmingham. And it was like, I think it was November time. It was winter time anyway. Because being a small plane, they can't go as high as the normal rocket jets. But we were in a snowstorm coming back, you know, and that was not nice. Especially when the pilot kept on shining his torch out the window, looking at the wing, you know, just because of the ice building up, sort of thing, you know, as it was then. But as it happened, it worked out all right. But it's not nice when you sort of see the pilot doing that.
Not really. No, you can understand that.
Yeah.
Right. What we got next? Oh yeah, Portland Studios.
April. To Deafest Two Parts. Yeah.
Yeah, you were doing some recording and stuff. And somebody's asked about.
I'm sorry, Chris.
No, you were probably going to say the same thing about. Somebody's asked about having to get all your gear out of Portland.
Well, what it was, it had basically Chaz had lost the studio, but it wasn't. It wasn't that bad because we were told to go get the gear out, but Jet Records had taken it over.
Right. You know, yes. Yeah.
Jet Records had taken it over, so all it was, it just meant just on a safe note to get all our gear out. There wasn't that much there anyway. We've been doing some recording, but there wasn't that much there. No. Because a matter of our road is probably Charlie Noonan or somebody getting a van and getting down there and whatever was in there just to get it out, just to make sure in case the doors got locked or, you know, the receivers or whatever, something like that. That was all it was. It was just a precaution to get the stuff out, really, you know.
And then you went to Europe on a tour with Whitesnake and people like that.
That was a great tour. That was.
I was going to say that.
That's one of my favourite tours. That was, because I think at that time, you know, sort of, we couldn't top the bill anywhere, not on a thing like that. And so they were breaking through as well. And the promoter sort of asked them, so well, Slade have still got the name, said if they come on, it'll really help with being support, you know. And it was a great tour. It was, I mean, it's really funny because, I mean, they never did sound checks. So it wasn't like we had to wait for them to do a sound check before we set our gear up. We just arrived before, but they also let us travel on their bus as well.
Oh,
they had a big tour coach, and they invited us to travel on the tour coach with them, you know. And like I said, they never did sound check, so we could have as much time as we wanted. And it was really funny, the one, like, because their sound guy was always moaning that they never came down for sound checks. You know, you always wanted them to come, but they never did it. But the one day, he said to me, he said, they're going to come down for a sound check. Fantastic. But they all came down at different times. Like sort of, John Law came down, just checked his keyboards and walked off. Ian Pace came down, checked his drums, walked off. And that was it. They never did a sound check altogether. And he was pulling his hair out, the sound guy was. But it was a great tour. Great tour.
You did Lockham, didn't you, that tour?
Sorry, what was that?
Lockham, you did the tour, that one.
What was that on that tour, Chris?
Apparently so. I'll go for
it. Well, I don't think he was probably that year, probably, but it wasn't. I don't think it was on that tour.
No, it might have been over those sort of months when you were there, sort of. Not specifically that tour.
I don't know. I can't remember. We might have had a few days off on the Whitesnake tour and went and did, but I think it was just a one-off in the Lockham Festival.
Yeah,
and that was another good one as well. I mean, the Stray Casters, they just got bottled. The Stray Casters, they never stood a chance.
Not the right sort of crew. That's not the right.
Not really. I don't know who thought of that one. The King, it was the Kings and 9 Below Zero were good. I like that band. They were good.
Yeah. No, like that. Rhythm and blues thing, weren't they? 9 Below Zero, I think, weren't
Sorry,
they?
What was that, Chris?
Oh, like a rhythm and blues thing, weren't they?
Yeah, but good. Yeah. Great singer. It was a good band. That was a good gig for us, that was.
Right. We're moving on to
the
Visual Aid. Knuckle Sandwich Nancy.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it never did a thing that.
No.
I mean, I don't know what happened there. I mean, perhaps it just wasn't the right thing. It wasn't particularly a good song, sort of thing. But it was good record. I remember recording because we overdubbed the drums quite a few times. So many tracks of drums, but it wasn't really a single.
You just said it wasn't a particularly good song. Was there any time when you were sitting there behind your kit, don't matter what year it was, and all of a sudden you thought, this is total and utter bollocks. This song.
Oh yeah, a few times. A few times. I mean, sort of. I mean, back in a bit earlier, sort of like things like "Wild Winds Are Blowing." I hated.
Right.
Yeah, I hated that song. It was just I don't know how that came about. It was just some writers who Chas knew or something, but that was one I did not like at all. Yeah, that "Wild Winds Are Blowing." There's probably a few more sort of thing. I can't really remember offhand, what they were. But there's a few things,
I just wondered if you ever just sat back and thought, what on earth was that? What
A few times I'm thinking, God, I remember being in the studio. I mean, I can't remember which songs. There's a few songs sitting in the studio thinking, I can't listen to this anymore. I've got to leave. I've got to either go and get a cup of tea or go and get a sandwich.
Yeah.
I can't listen to this anymore.
Yeah.
Was
that the same?
I'm sure everybody had the same.
Yeah. Was that the same though with the other guys? Did you sort of like Jim or Nod or Dave turn around to you and say, "What? This just isn't working. What's going? Why can we just leave it as it is?" Did that ever happen? Did you just sort of totally abandon the song?
That, I'm not saying, I mean, I'm in the control room, wherever, with everybody else, and I say, I can't listen to this anymore, and I'll just leave and go make a cup of tea or something, or go say, does anybody want a sandwich? I'll go get some sandwiches.
Good man.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, that's what
I mean, look, like you said, did I think it was a good choice of a single? I mean, it did sound bloody great in the studio. I will say that it sounded great, but it never saw the light of day. I'm not quite sure whether it got any radio plays.
I just bought every Slade as it came out. I just bought it. You'd see it advertised. I'd go down the shop and buy it, sort of thing. But I never. I mean, somebody will probably say, "Oh, yes, he was played on such and such," but I don't.
Yeah, I never heard it, but that doesn't mean anything. But I mean, it basically, like we said, never saw the light of day. No. Yeah, it sounded great in the studio, but it got to a point, I can't even listen to this anymore, sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, when you got what did I think was a good choice of a single? That's all we had at the time, Chris.
Yeah,
that's all we had.
Yeah, because you didn't really, because going back to We'll Bring the House Down, the album, as we said before, that was a compilation of songs that you'd already done. So you didn't really have a great deal in your store cupboard, did you?
Not really, no. We never did that. People say, are there any tracks that have never been, never been heard or sort of thing? We never did that. We never kept tracks. I mean, we used everything. We used everything. There might be the odd one or two somewhere, but we basically never kept it. We used everything.
It's the same also. Shaking Stevens is just releasing a 9 CD album thing.
9 CD?
90 odd quid it costs. Not shaking. No offence.
No, but I didn't think he recorded that many things.
Oh God, he's got more hits than anybody else other than the Beatles and somebody else.
It's amazing, isn't it?
And plus he was going before you were born, I think. So there's that as well.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think so. But like after that, the Wolverhampton Fiesta.
Do you remember it?
That was a good gig at the racetrack, the
West Park.
It was like that one now part of the Speedway track, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The Wolverhampton, I remember going there when I was a teenager trying to be a teddy boy.
Oh,
with
right.
drain pipes, and yeah, with sort of Tony Curtis haircut.
Yeah,
and, yeah, going to watch the speedways. I mean, I never particularly liked it, you know. I mean, it was just a thing to do with a gang of mates from school then.
yeah.
But
You get
that was, I
dusty. You
remember it
get
was a good
dusty.
thing. What, Chris?
You get dusty as well at the speedway, don't
Yeah, I did. Just bought my hair. I couldn't afford Brooklyn. I think I used to use margarine on my hair.
I've seen some of the photographs of you and Mick and John, and it's, you know, it's proper pompadour, as you say, Tony
Oh yeah,
Curtis DAs and
oh yeah. I always remember the thing. The barbs I used to use was in the Orchard, Bilston.
yeah.
I can't remember the name of the people though. But the thing was, it was. I always remember walking and saying, and what I told the guy was square neck, you know, so square neck, square sides, roll the front and trim the top, and that was the thing, you know.
I used to have proper barbers that had two photographs of his boys and gents.
That's it. That's the same. And the old sort of the circular thing, you know, the
Yeah,
red, you know, the
that
pink
was
and
it.
white thing.
That's
Yeah.
all you had.
Yeah, I used to go. I can't remember. I think it was. I think I paid 3 and 6. I think it was sort of like that. So I think I paid. Yeah, so, well, yeah. But it was a good night in the Fiesta. I remember that. And because
the next is quite a serious thing, isn't it? You split with Chaz.
was that when was that around that time?
Around that time, yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's sort of nothing was really happening between us, and we weren't happy working together in the studio anymore. You know, he wasn't. I mean, I've got to be quite honest here. I went out for a night with him, and he wasn't. He confided in me saying he wasn't happy with the material anymore. You know. And he says you're trying to be too clever or whatever, you know, or things like that, you know. But it just finished, and that was it, you know.
He was all amicable, though, wasn't it?
Sorry.
He was all amicable. There was
no. Yeah. It was all done, you know, done and dusted. That was it, you know.
Yeah. Because he set you up with RCA, didn't he, before we went?
Sorry, what was that, Chris?
Didn't he set you up with RCA?
He got the deal with RCA for us, and he set that up, like you said, before the split.
Yeah,
that was all set up before.
Can't argue with that.
And it was actually it was a great deal that he got, Chris.
Yeah,
it was a great deal. I will say that. I mean, unbelievable. Actually, I will say an unbelievable deal, really. You know, I mean, sort of, it's like, I mean, just somebody said, I don't know how they can afford you, you know, sort of thing. It did get us an unbelievable deal with RCA, you know, but, and then we got here, there's UK dates in June.
Yeah.
I can't remember what kind of gigs
I think they were sort of mainly theatre things. You were back in the Odeons and all
universities and things like that, yeah. Probably, you know.
Yeah. But the big one, obviously, was in August, was Castle Donington.
Castle Donington, yeah. I mean, that was another great gig, you know, really good, you know, great gig, especially with AC/DC. I mean, they're such great down-to-earth blokes. I've got to tell you this one week. Brian Johnson was obviously, he hadn't been with them all that, or he might have been, but we hadn't seen him for a few years then, Brian Johnson. Because we toured together with George when he was with Geordie.
Geordie, yeah.
Yeah, and anyway, when we came off stage, I said, I'm going to run to their caravan. They'd just been announced. They'd been announced. And I thought, I'm just going to run and say hello to Brian before they go on stage. And I walked in, and they were playing darts. They got the dartboard up in the caravan playing darts, and their tour manager was saying, "Come on, you've been announced." And the Angus was saying, "Hang on, I'm just trying to get this double top." It was great. It would have been great to have filmed that. They said, "Hang on, just trying to get this double top." He got his guitar and all changed and everything, but they were just amazing. Great band.
It was quite a good sort of lineup.
It was.
Blue Oyster Cult failed, didn't they? I think they were the.
I'll tell you another story in a minute. I mean, we had like plaques given to each member of every band had like a plaque to commemorate the festival.
Right, yeah.
I don't know what happened to mine. I don't know that Andreas had it, but anyway, there's a great photograph of Blue because they died. They really died.
Yeah.
And there was a photograph of them smashing all their plaques backstage. You know, so toys at the pram sort of thing.
Oh, right.
Yeah, there was toys out the pram there, and it was a great gig, another great gig for us. That was because that was like after Reading sort of thing,
Yeah.
you know, and
Did you have
and it
that?
was
You sort
we
of
had that.
topped and tailed it, didn't you? You
Yeah,
had
yeah, and
Reading.
it was a great gig. Was a
Yeah,
great gig that was.
yeah,
But I'll say when the question after says the better console, I suppose they're both great, but Reading was the one that brought us back.
yeah.
Yeah, I think what it was more than anything, I don't want to, you know, the story, Chris, but I mean, we had nothing to lose going
No,
to Reading. We had nothing to lose, and we just went on and just did it, and it just worked. I mean, everybody said all the hierarchy, the thing like there's Tommy Vance, all the people says you're going to rip the place apart because you've got the songs.
yeah.
You know, it says, and it was, and it was really great after when we came. I said, our caravan, which is the dressing rooms in there, you know, our caravan was full of everybody. You know, everybody from the festival drinking our bleeding booze, you know, sort of thing. But I
I've
think,
always thought with Slade, I mean, it's been banging on 50 odd, say 1970 or so, it's 50 odd years. So I followed you all through all the watching, you know, original lineup sort of stuff. And I always thought that you were the sort of band that would walk on to any stage, don't matter who it was, and you go, yes, that was very good. You did really well there. Now let's show you how to do it properly. And you go,
yeah.
bam, like that.
Well, I think well, a lot of that was the sort of like we were a unit, Chris. I
Yeah,
mean, we were so tight as a
yeah,
band. I
yeah,
remember when we did a UK tour with, do you remember there's a group called Bunny from Liverpool?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I still, me and
You were
me,
saying, yeah,
me and Terry the drummer, we still talk to each other, you know. And
yeah,
I saw it when I did the foreword for that book, you know, that he
yeah,
released.
yeah,
Even amazing, you know, when John Lennon said Ringo ain't even the best drummer in the Beatles,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
and I did the they wrote a good book, I did the forward. So I've been up to me and Hannah have been up to Liverpool a few times on promotion things for the book, you know.
Right.
And so me and Teddy have stayed in touch all those years, you know. And yeah, and he always said, he said when he said he used to watch us on the side when they supported us, he said, God, he said you were so tight as a band, but
Yeah.
it was not sort of boasting, but it was like natural to us.
Yeah. Well,
You know, it was
that's
natural.
the impression I always got. It was
Yeah,
I don't matter who was your supporter or anything else like that. I always thought you sort of and you were nice blokes, and you'll say, "Oh yeah,
yeah,
very good, well done." That was smashing. Now we'll show you how to do it properly.
yeah.
Boom, you know, sort of. That's
Well, it's like the classic was it Donington? Or which one was it? Where Def Leppard were on? Was that Donington?
Reading, wasn't it?
Was that Reading? It was
Reading.
Reading.
Yes,
Yeah,
it was Reading. Yeah, of
yeah.
course it
Because
was.
what it was originally, they were gonna they were booked to go on before us. That's right. And they were coming. Moan says, "We're not going on before Slade. We've sold millions of albums in America." And we said, "Well, we ain't bothered. You can go on after us, you know. We ain't bothered. You don't." Of course, they couldn't follow us. They actually said in the press afterwards, the worst thing we ever had to do was to follow Slade, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it
I was
never
disappointed. I quite when Leopard first came out, I bought they bought an independent EP out, and I thought on Bludgeon Me Fowler, whatever the name was, and they were great. Then they brought out the first album, and I thought they're going to be American. And then I saw them at the Civic, and there was Magnum and Diamond head of thing.
Oh, right, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and they were just rubbish.
I never got off on them. I saw them a few times,
Yeah,
and I couldn't see the crack. You know, I mean, I always try and keep that quiet when I see bands. I think, well, what's the crack? You
yeah.
know, sort of, you
Well,
know.
you're missing something.
I'm quite open when I see bands. If I think they're great, I will say they're great. You know,
Yeah.
and but I never. They did nothing for me.
No.
Nothing anyway. But
Anyway,
we got the
right.
question after.
Do you know anything about it being taped, filmed, Donington? Somebody's asked a question
What was
about
that,
that.
Chris?
Somebody's asked a question about Donington being taped. Do you remember it at all or filmed? Technical glitch.
Hello?
Oh, that's better.
Oh, they're back.
You're back.
What was that? What was the question again?
It was the one about the being video, about Donington being videoed.
Oh, I don't know. I've never
Okay,
heard of
fair
it.
enough, then.
I've never heard, and nobody's ever mentioned it, and there's nobody ever sort of seen it on Spotify or whatever they
Yeah.
go on. You know, nobody's ever. I mean, that would have been a great one, especially with the lineup with AC/DC and Whitesnake. You know, and that would have been a great. Sorry, just reminded me. Blue Oyster Cult, right? I think it was 1983 or 84. When I was signed to Ludwig Drums then, right? I was at Ludwig Drums in Dorsey, and it was Ludwig's 75th anniversary. I think it was 84, I think. 83 or 84. And Bill Ludwig was inviting 75 drummers from around the world to Chicago for the weekend, you know, for a big celebration. And they had dinner suits made for everybody. I got all our sizes well in advance, and they had dinner suits made for everybody. And it was Chicago for the weekend, and just a big celebration for Ludwig's 75th anniversary. Those are my drinking days, and I don't remember much about it, except I look at the photograph and I can see I was there because I'm on the photograph, you know. But
fair enough.
But anyway, sort of the drummer from the Oyster Cult, he was on Ludwig as well. And when we got to the big warehouse where they're doing the photograph shoot in the afternoon, he walked up to me and says, "I remember you guys." Yeah, it's on about Castle Donington.
Yeah.
You know, he said, "I remember you guys," you know, and that's what he meant. Yeah, because I don't think they went down very well.
They didn't.
You know.
Talking of Ludwig, was it true that they, at one point, they would ship anything that you wanted to you anywhere in the world?
Anywhere in the world. It was fantastic.
That's
I mean,
brilliant.
I remember, I think we were in Tokyo, and whatever it was, I think it was something to do with my foot pedals. In those days, it would be a fax, right? I'd send a fax to Ludwig, you know, and because I was a full endorsee for Ludwig, I never paid for a thing. And anyway, I sent a fax to, it was Kay, who was Bill the first secretary. She basically ran the company. And I sent a fax to Kay. I said, "Kay, can you help me out? I need so-and-so urgently." And I basically got a fax straight back to the hotel where we're staying in Tokyo. Says, "Okay, Don, go to so-and-so shop, give me the address in Tokyo. It said they're expecting you, just as normal, just go and pick it up and sign for it and it's yours." I mean, that's all gone
Fantastic.
now. It's like when I had the big chrome kit made, I made that specially for me because it was all big sizes, and they were really excited about it because it was like out of the norm sizes, you know, and they made it all for me, and all spares, like a spare bass drum, I had 5 snare drums, you know, God knows what, you know, and they shipped it all to England for me, free of charge.
Brilliant.
All I had to do, there was a note given to the customs in England, a gift, so I didn't have to pay duty on it. It was which it was. I didn't have to pay for anything.
No, of course, no.
And all I had to do was go down to Heathrow, sign for it, and take it home.
Fantastic.
I mean, all those days are gone now, which is such a shame. I'm still in contact with Bill III. You know, we make because Ludwig then, I remember seeing him in the 80s. We had lunch together, and he was saying they couldn't keep up with basically the Japanese. They couldn't keep up with the Japanese, you know. And Ludwig went, but he started his own company now because the initials of his granddad, who started the company, his dad and him helped us, is William Frederick Ludwig, and his new drum company is WFL3. You know, so he started his own drum company. So, you know, I'm still in touch, which is nice. You know,
brilliant. That's brilliant.
Lovely.
Somebody's asked about MTV. Were you aware of it at all?
Not really. Not at the time. Not
early days, wasn't it?
I'm not quite sure. Was it being shown in England then?
I don't know. I don't know.
I can't remember it shown in England then. But I remember when we went to the States in '84. And it was just, it was great. I couldn't stop watching it. It was just brilliant. I mean, it's on 24 hours, like typical American TV.
Yeah.
24 hours. And the Run Away video was on nearly every hour.
Yeah.
It was
Can't beat it,
incredible.
can you?
You know, and
Right.
yeah,
Then we've got your next single, "Lock Up Your Daughters," which oh, this is for the promotional copy.
Oh, nice one. Oh, that's all
Only
right.
because it's got it written on the sleeve. That's all. There's nothing else.
What was that, Chris?
It's only because it's written on the sleeve.
Oh, I see. Right.
The
Yeah.
actual record doesn't
Yeah.
say anything. But
No, it was that was a nice break.
Daughters.
I think what helped there was because of all the success we were having with the festivals, and it did break, and
top 30.
Yeah, it just about made it. Just about did it. Just about. I mean, that was fine. Fine.
And then it's the next thing really was the Till Death LP. Another what's it?
Oh, that well. That album went against us. Was that from Reading or Donington?
Donington, the picture.
Oh, was it? Yeah, but great photograph there.
Yeah, it was.
But Lock Up My Daughters, they went to number 20. It was great because we were just it was like a new search for us of success. It was really good. And
that was with the non-controversial sleeve.
That was it. Yeah.
It wasn't. Nobody bothered about it, did they? They was, oh, it's going to offend everybody, but nobody gave a monkeys.
No. People did complain about it, but I mean, but it went to number 16. You know, according to, I'm just reading the thing here. Yeah, 16. But
there's some good songs on it though.
It was. I think.
Rock and Roll Preacher, brilliant.
I think it was just trying to be a bit too heavy, Chris.
You think so?
I think so. I think it sort of went against us in a way.
You're going towards the Donington crowd, sort of.
Yeah, I think that's what it was, because we'd had all that success, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
With a festival crowd, and and
you were never a heavy metal band.
No, never. No.
I mean, metal was, I don't know. There was this new wave of British heavy metal with your Leopards and all, you know, those sort of people in the 70s and the 80s. But when I first started seeing you, you were just a dance band.
Yeah.
I'd come and see you, and we'd be at the back, me and my mates, having a bit of jingle about down at the baths or something like that.
Yeah, we're never a heavy metal band, never. No, but
you were allowed.
We could have got that sort of thing, that tag from because of the festivals, you know, Reading and Donington, really.
Yeah. You were undoubtedly loud. I mean, don't think anybody could deny that you're allowed.
We did have a few problems with the volume.
Slightly, yes.
Yeah, but
But then
we got to. I'm December. I'm assuming it means it's 81, like December UK dates and everything.
Yeah.
But after Merry Christmas went to number 32.
In this sleeve.
Was that the one? Was it?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like that. It's like never ending, that record, and it's, you know, sort of thing.
It's that thing. People say it's re-released. It's never re-released. It's just public. It's never off the books, is it? They just re-promote it.
Always available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just re-promote it.
But obviously, it gets all the plays. Obviously, around the Christmas time, you know.
Amazing. Amazing, eh?
Yeah, but I do tell you, the one time it was on. It was in the 80s. We were on tour, and I was in a hotel. I was in the lift, going. There's quite a few people in the lift. And I was at the front, and he was playing in the lift.
Oh.
He was playing. I was the system in the lift, and I was at the front by the door. And I had this bloke, I think it was genuine, this bloke behind me said, I'm bloody fed up with this record. And I turned around and faced him, and he went blood red.
Genius.
And the time once when I was in the supermarket, and I was at the till, and it was playing in the system, and the young kid on the till, this young girl was singing at the top of her head, you know, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I was handing the stuff off. She looked up. She went, oh, covering her face.
Fantastic. It's something to be proud of. It's a thing, and it's something to be proud of. I mean, to be remembered the way it's remembered is fantastic.
I mean, like I said, incredible. Like we recorded that on that day in New York when it was a heat wave.
Yeah.
You know, and there was everywhere. You know, It was great. It was unbelievable, really.
Right, I think we've ended 81. What I'm going to do is say thank you, and I'm going to turn off the recording thing because I want a quick chat with you afterwards, if that's all right.
Okay, yeah. There's a few questions here. I don't know whether they were part of the 80s about just there's a question. Which was the best Lincoln Festival?
Oh yeah, I think you're right. You sort of answered those, didn't you? About the festivals and things.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's the nodding AC/DC question.
Yeah. No, he never.
You don't know it.
I can't remember ever mentioning it to me. I think it was a non-starter anyway, Chris.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I couldn't see it as a fan. I couldn't, not being an insider or anything like that. I can't see Nod singing for AC/DC at all.
Well,
but
the thing is, it would. I don't know whether they'd have him playing guitar or what, because they've already got 2 guitars. But I don't know. But he never mentioned it to me anyway.
All right then, I'll get rid of the recording and I'll have a quick chat with you, mate. It's been fantastic. Thank you very much indeed.